Yes. Big up one, big up all. Good evening one, good evening all. Hope you're good. Hope everything nice. Father Chalky, Simple Things Audio. Just doing a little sound chatting video. So gonna just share the video around and wait for a couple of people to come on. Right, let's see. Search sound system, put it in the group. Alright, have a look. Okay, let's just do that, get rid of that anyway. Okay, yep, just give us a couple of minutes. Got a couple of people coming in and we want to have a little chat. I've got a little stack of amps here at the moment to make a comparison. We've got the new one of the Wasy amps here, so we'll be chatting about that. Big up Ray Sawney, nice to see you. Just sharing the video about at the moment because I know a couple of people want to chat and find out a few bits and pieces. So yeah, we're going to have some words about a few things and everything. So big up all the DJs, all the sound system owners, all the sound system men, MCs. Big up all the followers of good music and good tune and good sound system, because that's how we love it. That's how we like it, because that's what this is all about, you know, making sure the people roll forward nicely. So as I say, I'm just waiting for a couple of people to come in and then we can get started chatting about the Wasy amp. Mainly at the moment is what we're chatting about. So we're just gonna I'm just sharing this round into our group and then we can get started. I want to big up everybody who's on board. Thank you very much for taking time out and doing your thing and watching. Right, okay, let's share it to the group. Right, just waiting for a couple of people just to come in. We're just going to get started. Mainly want to talk about the Wasy amp on the top, which is new over here in the UK, but not so new in the USA and in Jamaica. You've got quite a few sounds over them sides which have the Wasy amp, so it has, you know, kind of held a reputation. But we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. Yeah, as I say, I'm just waiting for a couple of people to come on board and we can, you know, have a couple of questions, we can have a couple of answers. Ray, can you tell me if you can hear me sweetly? Just give me a thumbs up so I know the audio is coming across, please, and thank you. Right, I'm hoping the audio's coming across nicely and people can hear me. I'm sure I've turned it up, so I'm hoping everybody can hear me. 1, 2, if anybody can just let me know if the audio is coming across and you can hear me okay. Please and thank you, that would be nice. Just doing some sound system chattings, as I said. So let me make sure that I have everything correct. Thank you very much, Ray, enough respect. Right, all right, we're good to go, good to go. So as I say, good evening one, good evening all who are popping in now. Let me know you're there. Let me know who's about and thing. As I said, I'm just going to take a little time out. We've been taking some time last few months, do a few different things, you know. So yeah, getting there bit by bit by bit. But today is mainly emphasised on the Wasy amp that I've brought in over from America, and we're going to chat about the Wasy amp. As you can see the logo over there. I apologise for the light, can't get more light here at the moment, so you'll have to make do with what you see. So, right, I bought, for all those who understand, I put each amp which is underneath the Wasy amp is there for a little comparison reason, yeah. So I haven't put that ad mark there because we'll chat about the Wasy and the ad marks a bit deeper on in a later date. We'll chat a little thing today, but at a later date we'll go deeper into the Chinese manufacturers and everything, yeah. J-Star, look, J-Star's a joker, you know, not one plugged in, so give me a squeeze stuff. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm waiting for Wasi, who is the builder of these amps. He should be joining us any second as well from over in the USA, so I'm waiting to hear from him. And I'm going to give you a little rundown on the amp, some specs, a little idea of what the amp can actually do, or what is supposed to be able to do, yeah, because some men say, oh, certain amp are only built for mid and top, another amp are built for bass, blah, 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 yeah. It all depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it, that whether you can get good response on any amp from 20 hertz to 20k. All depends on what you want to do. Some will phase out before that, some will phase out after that, blah, blah, blah. You know, all depends on what you do, what you want to do. So, you know, this amp, the Wasy amp, right. I'm going to give them a couple more minutes because, as I said, there's a few mans who've contacted me last couple of days, and they know I'm doing this today. So let me give a couple of people a couple of minutes, and then we'll get off. It's interesting, I have to say, and I'm going to say this now, from I think it was 4 years ago, when myself, Cousin Ren, and Cutty from QSS was with us as well, when CVR first started pushing out the 1U amps at the time, and their run was going very well at the time, and then there came what is now known as the Admark amps, but what was originally known as the Gesundheit amps, as I call them, from the one factory basically, huge factory in China. There was all them amps there, and at first, this was about 4 years ago, when we first saw them, and everybody first saw them, and at the time, even CVR was doing it, no one was opening the top of their amps to show the public. And then when we found that the Admark, the Morin, the Zone Factor, the India Mark was all the same amp with different faceplate, is now that, you know, the companies have realised, well, you know what, we might as well open it up and show them to people and show them what we actually do inside. So you will find now, you know, a lot more pictures of the inners of amp, whether high class or lower class. You'll find a lot more pictures on the internet than what you used to, you know, and you know, big up the companies that, you know, they got good amps, they got decent amps, they have faith in their amps, so they're willing to put out that info out there. What you have to know sometimes, though, is what you're looking for when you're looking at the inside of an amp sometimes, you know what I mean? I know bits and pieces, but I don't know deep. You know, that's Cousin Ren's side of things, but anyway, right, I've got a couple of more people there, so let's get into this amp. Okay, right, what we have here, I have the Wasy 4400 4-channel amp. Now, this one, if I'm not mistaken, is one of Wasy's, what them man would say, weaker amps. Them power hungry man would say it's one of the weaker amps. But the specs on it are practically, and this is why I've got the QSC PL236. So we'll talk about that straight away. The specs on it are, I think, 800 at 8 ohms per channel, 1200 at 4 ohms per channel, and 1800 at 2 ohms per channel. Now, power-wise, that is more or less exactly the same specs as the QSC PL236. Now, for those who know about amplifiers, it's not just about the power, obviously. You know, you've got your signal to noise ratio, THD, this and that, right? So I dug a little bit deeper of what, you know, than the power. Had a look at, you know, what Wasy had said, and chatted to a few other mans who own these in other countries, because I'm keeping in contact with different people in USA and Jamaica as well. So I've got people, you know, letting me know how they're going and letting me know how they are stably, because as I said, at the moment with these, the USA and Jamaica are, you know, ahead of Europe, because Wasy is American. So there you go. So, and from what I've been hearing, failure rate is very, very, very low. You know, like any company, you might get 1 or 2, but it's very low. So a lot of people talking real good things. Right, let's go back to the power. 800 at 8, 1200 at 4, 1800 at 2. And as I said, other specs on this amp which match the QSC PL236. Now, this is what got me interested in this amp, because Wasy makes bigger amps as well. He's got the 15,000 watt, and he's got the 15,000 watt 4-channel. So he's got 2, you know, large scale amps there for bass duties and line array duties, whatever. But this amp, and I'm gonna smile, Wasy said to me, well, really, you know, it's built for mid-top, you know, big. Probably a lot of, some man would say the same thing because of the power rating. Now, personally, I'm a man, I've always been after tone before pressure and thing anyway. So with that kind of power, and with the boxes that I've run, I've already proved numerous times with this QSC PL236 that I could take out 2 sub, put them on the QSC PL236, which would only just reach their RMS power, but would make the boxes sound glorious without clipping. Yeah, I never clip my amps, so I'm careful like that. So people who want to tell me, oh, it's not good to rare, if you know what you're doing, then in reality, you're not gonna have a problem. A block of 4 of them boxes together on this amp, for me, is gonna sound wicked. Yeah, it's gonna sound wicked. I will test it out to see if it, because I've got this thing up in my head, which is, I'm gonna say this not just today, last couple of weeks, it's been for a couple of years, because I've been, you know, chatting to Wasy and everything, and I've got this thing that this amp will match the tone and the strength and the quality of the QSC PL236. So for me, it will work very nicely. It will work very nicely. For others may say, well, it's under power. Fair enough, depending on your drivers, on what you're running, on what you want it to do. But again, I'm talking about bass frequencies there. The amp is not just built just to play bass frequencies at all. Yeah, so we're going to test it on mids, we're going to test it on tops, we're going to test it on horns and tweeter, you know, everything. We're going to try over the next couple of weeks, and, you know, I'll come back to you with whatever details, you know, and let you know. People have asked me how light are these amps. Now, they're not as deep or as heavy. Well, this one, let's get this correct. This one isn't as deep or as heavy as the Admark or the CVR amps. The bigger ones, the 15,000s and the 15,000 4-channel are as big. So they are like 12, 14K, big long depth, enough space inside to do the boards that need the work. This one, however, is, let me see, let me just take this off without causing too much tilt, if you can see. Right, it's very shallow, as you can see here. It's a shallow amp, so it's not got a whole heap of depth. And as for weight, this is why I brought the Behringer into the picture as well, because for those who know, the Behringer iNuke, which has served me well over the years, you know, and when people started with that amp, they was cussing it down to the ground, and I've had them amps, what, 8 years, and they've served me great. So, you know, no problems. Anyway, the thing about the Behringer was that the iNuke was paperweight light. All right, it wasn't the greatest of builds, admittedly, but like I say to anybody, if you play something within its means, you know, within what it's supposed to do, then you're going to get a lot of better results. If you're there trying to thrash any piece of equipment, whether it be an amplifier, whether it be a speaker, whether it be an equalizer or a mixer into the red, whatever, then you're going to get a whole heap of problems. And you're going to get a whole heap of failure. Simple as that. So, you know, for me, I've always played the Behringers within their means. I don't peak them, nothing like that. And people have said from the beginning, oh, you'll be lucky if you get 2 years. I've had 6 years and then one stopped. 8 years, one went down run channel. 8 years, one still running fully fine. You know what? For the price I got them at the time when they was getting slated at £200 an amp, how am I going to complain at that? Anyway, the Wasy amp and the Behringer amp, that's the reason I put that there, because the Behringer amp was paperweight light. You could carry that with one hand without a problem on one handle. The Wasy amp, I think, is about 1 kilo heavier than the Behringer amp, so it's paperweight light as well. When I say paperweight, for an amplifier, it's light, okay? None of my guys, the older ones, definitely not the younger ones, the ladies, no one would have a problem picking this up and carrying it. Yeah, and it's, as I said, it's not got a whole heap of depth, so it's not bulky that you have to worry about them things. You know, as a sound man, you could put that in a rack, you ain't worried about that. You know, just string it up, go on again, finish. Yeah. The power rating on it, as I said, is very good. Now, let's have a look at the features. Now, I ain't got nothing plugged in here, so you're going to have to just bear with me and just stay with me so I can show you, because the lighting, as I said, isn't great. Now, we've got a fan over here. And in a little while, we're going to talk about certain things. But Wasy's put a little fan over here, your power switch here. You've got your fan to let out some air right here. Now, he's prettied up this amp very nicely, because once plugged in, the amp comes on with, you know, the usual, you know, amplifier noise, and then that's just gone, and the amplifier is quiet. Now, I can't tell you at the moment what it sounds like when driving drivers and blah, 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 because I haven't actually tested it. I will be doing that on Sunday with a two sub, two top config to give it a workout for 6 hours. But I know that when I turned it on with UK current, and it's come from the USA, I've turned it on with UK current, it's turned on, it's made this noise, it's come back comfortably to idle. So, and it sat there for a couple of hours without a problem, no heat dissipation, no noise, no nothing. So I'm satisfied with that at the moment. So that's nothing to worry about. Right, so as I said, Wasy's prettied up the amp. The knobs are, as you can see, quite big. But yeah, that's good. That's good really for you if you want to do it. But I mean, like, because of where it's going to be in our rack and everything, unless you've got somebody, you know, who's playing your sound, then I can't see people bumping into them thing and rare. So that's nothing to worry about. And also the knobs they're not only quite stiff, but each one has its own touch ting. So you turn, every time you turn it down, you're feeling it. You turn it up, you're feeling it. So Wasy's built that very solidly for all 4 channels here from 1 to 4. Now, I can't, as I said, I can't show you right this minute. If you have a look on my page, you'll see the picture. What it is when you switch it on, each channel has an independent input light. That's it. Well, I'm presuming independent volume light. So however high you turn the channel, the green light will follow. So if you've got all 4 turned to central, the light on this side of the knob, on the left hand side of the knob, will follow. So therefore, you will always be able to keep an eye on them settings there, just like DSP or whatever, but you'll be able to keep an eye on them settings there 100% without a problem. Once we go further down the line in the next couple of weeks, I'll be showing you some more and everything. Now, over here, and as I said, I've still yet to hook it up to the speakers, but I'm presuming, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct, but I'm presuming, I've seen it, that these are the output signals for each channel. So it shouldn't really be a presumption from me, let me get it correct here, but these are the output signals for each channel. So therefore, again, another thing you can, you know, which is a very handy for me, because I'm not a person who uses DSP. So I don't go inside to a unit myself. I'm analog, I'm very much analog. So I don't go inside to a unit and set it via computer or via, you know, screen or anything like so. So for people like myself, these kind of indicators will always be handy, whether it be on a preamp or whether it be on an amplifier or whether it be a separate built unit. These indicators are always going to be handy to have, so you can watch your levels. I mean, plenty of DSP units have these on them anyway, you know, so you can keep an eye on your levels for different settings inside the DSP. So it's a good thing to have. Right, I just want to get in just a couple of things. The reason I've got this one, the R10 here with this is simply because of the depth, basically, because the R10 was another amplifier that I used to use as well, which was you know, it had quite oomph to it, but didn't really, you know, for me it didn't really work for what I wanted it to do. So I've kept it one side, but it was the depth of the amp. It's a very shallow amp, and I put it there thinking it was, you know, about as shallow as Wasy's, but Wasy's is even deeper than the R10 original. So, you know, different depth. That was the only reason that's there, and plus that's the next one with virtually the same specs as the Wasy amp, and it's 4-channel as well. So that was the next reason the two could go, because that was my second, I think my second ever 1U amp. My first one was a Phonics, which was only about 250 watts a channel, but this was my second 1U amp from Alexander Wright. I had a couple of them, 2 channels and the 4-channel, and you know, some work for some people, some, you know, don't work for others. That's how it goes. I just, you know, but big up Alexander Wright, keep doing your thing anyway. Now, as I said, with the Wasy amp, price is $600 US. Now, you'll have to go on the internet to convert that to pounds, and then you'll contact Wasy to, you know, find out all the info on the postage and rough postage costs, because obviously it's coming from over there to over here. Now, like I said, there's going to be a chat about this amp, and the one amp I didn't put here was the Admark amp for particular reasons, basically, because tonight was mainly about the Wasy amp. But I'm going to state a couple of things, because, you know, there's a lot of debate, as I said in the beginning, when we first found out in, I'm sure it was 2021, 4 years ago, about there was different copies from different companies, all coming from the same factory, but different companies just putting on different faceplate and claiming it was theirs, basically, you know. It was the claim, you know, if you're taking it and you're selling it and everything and blah, 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 that's one thing. But to claim that it's yours, can cause a lot of waves. Can cause a lot of waves. Now, this unit itself, before I say that, you've got a few people who, with Wasy, and with a few other people as well, who have said that, you know, Wasy's taken the work, and, you know, he's just taken it out of China like some of them other companies, and he's taken it back to America and just put his own brand on the front. Now, firstly, if you look at the Wasy amps, yeah, some of the others did put their own brand, but they only painted them. They didn't put panels and everything, you know what I mean, different panel or nothing. So he has obviously upgraded some of the paint work. Some, you know, the faceplate is totally different. Some of the ventilation on different ones is totally different. This one here in particular is not like any Admark amp that I have seen that's come out of the Gesundheit factory personally, you know. So I can't, you know, I've seen the inside work of one of these, and I've looked around to see if there is and I can't see one. But irrelevant of that, my point for this is, for those who don't actually know, if a man, doesn't matter whether he's English, Scottish, Indian, where, right, takes these amps out of China and then brings them to whatever, and let's get this correct, yeah? Brings them to whatever, and then disassembles them in certain ways, and then reassembles them with different components and different bits and pieces. And you know, the topology, if you understand that, may stay the same, but the actual inside upgrade or whatever that may be. And as I said, I am not a hardcore electrician, right? So I'm not a person who's going to say to you, well, you know, A, B, and that. I know to a certain degree, yeah. And like I said before, you find now that a lot of the companies, since we, and this, I'm going to take, you know, big up Cousin Ren, big up Cutty, right? Since we revealed that the companies was the same, you find a lot of companies now, as I said, feel no way about showing the inners of their amps. And because people now know it is one main factory, so, you know, companies no longer, and other companies as well, no longer feel, you know, a way about showing the inner workings of their amp. Now, my point being, if the man has rebuilt these things, yeah, and I've been in contact with the man for the last few years, we've been having our chatting, I've been watching him grow from strength. He has the knowledge, the power, you know, he worked for power, so all kind of thing, okay? So he tries a thing, yeah? Now, like I said, if the man was doing what India Mart was doing, or what Zone Factory was doing, or even Morin themselves, no, Morin didn't do it, but Zone Factory done it, and India Mart done it. If the man was taking the amp and just changing the colour and putting his name on the front and then telling people that is his amp, then cool. People would have every right to come on the internet, make noise, rare, tear. But you know what? Before you do them things, go and study, go and look. And if you see that Wasy's insides are exactly, and get this correct, are exactly the same as the Admark amp, Gazun I amp, then fair enough. There's nothing I can say. You can say, you know what, Father Chalk is chatting rubbish, yeah, and I'll be happy to accept that, yeah. I will, you know, I'm going to get to bust this one open anyway, yeah. So, like I say, I know this has got a different inner to the others, but I can tell you now that the ones they're talking about was these bigger amps, the 15K, the 15K 4-channel, blah blah blah, which are more expensive than the Admark amps, yeah. But if you have a look at what the man's actually done, not only the prettiness, but the actual inner work, then, you know, you'll understand, you will understand. I'm still, even up to now, right, I've got people who know things about electronics, who is, you know, questioning, because, you know, they want to know properly, they want to see, they want to find out. So I'm gonna, you know, help Wasy along with this, because he's a man who's trying to do a thing, trying to push his thing, you know. And over in USA and Jamaica, they're not having a problem there at all, you know what I mean? Obviously, you've got those who are over there who are very questioning, blah, blah, blah. But the majority of them who have this amp, and there are quite a few big sounds out there who have these amps, yeah, I've got no problems with them at all. No problems with them at all. So, as I said, that's the Wasy amp. Give me a second. Let me have a look and see if I can see any comment. Because you know, out of USA, out of the USA, and we like to make sure that all things get across the globe. Basically, you know, everybody help everybody. That's how I like to do it. You know, Wasy's put in a lot of work, and as I said, he's trying to ting, and there's nothing wrong with a man trying to thing. So I'm here just to put across the information, So it's at the moment the amp's looking good. It's light, no delicate parts about it. It's built solidly. It's not unlike the Behringer, which is kind of the hard ABS, but it's harder than that. And like this one here, it's built with steel like the QSC as well. So it is a tough amp, even though it's light, it's tough. And it does seem to have a nice little ventilation system. Now, let's just turn it round so I can just show you the back quickly. Because there is no, if I remember, there's no bridge mode on these amps. If I'm pretty sure that's correct. That they just run straight 2 channels, so straight 2 ohms. Now, there you go. XLR input and output. XLR input and speak on output. So that amp is just very straightforward. Nothing to get confused about, blah, blah, blah. And at the other end, nice and simple, IEC power cord. So straightforward, there's another 2 speak on there. And that's that, really. So it has got the, like I say, I've got to check it out. It has got a link. Oh, that's correct, yeah, where you can link the 2 channels together, not for power, but just to play, if I remember rightly. So you would link, if you want to run it single cable, you could push single cable into channel 1, press link, and it will just do the 2 channels, basically a mono function, basically, for channel 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm just seeing that at the back. I'm pretty sure I did read that anyway. So yeah, that's the amp. I mean, as I said, it's built solidly. It is built very well, and it is only 7.5K, so it's light. And I've heard it through headphones on different people's systems, and it does seem to have a nice tone to it. So I'm hoping, as I said, that if I've got my mind and my ears correct and what I'm thinking, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this 4-channel will run more or less the same as the QSC PL236, and then from there I'm well happy. Because I know for the smaller things I could easily then take out a couple of sub, put them on this 3 or 4 if I wanted to put them on this, and just put that in a corner, a nice other party with enough people. Yeah, with enough people. So really, I'm looking forward to testing this out, both on bass and mid-high, because as Wasy said, well, I did make it for the mid-high and everything, but like I say, you could go up and down with any amp. It depends on the user at the end of the day. So I'm going to be pushing it on some mid-highs on Sunday, and pushing it on some sub on Sunday as well. We'll give it a 6-hour workout and just, you know, test the frequencies, see how the amp handles everything in. You know, I'm not going to bring out no flash system to put through it. I'm just going to bring out a little preamp and a mixer and send the signal straight into the amplifier. Nothing in between. Let's check and see how it reacts to the signal. And then I know how the boxes sound anyway, so I want to see the sound that it's going to send to the boxes, and hopefully it should be a neutral sound coming from that amp, or it might have its own sound. You know what I mean? Sometimes you find people say, yeah, all amps are neutral. You can easily find different amps having different sounds of their own, you know, and different people perceive things with their ears different ways. We is all different, as I said before, so, you know. But yeah, there you go. There's a little chat about the Wasy amp, and you know, if you need to know more, then yeah, just keep in contact with me, and I'll keep you updated. Basically, as I said, he's looking to spread it about, you know, spread the work about. And another thing I'm going to say, when you've got people like Daniel from Admark and Helen as well, give her a props, from CVR, who are very good customer services, yeah, who look after you, who go out their way to help you. Yeah, so Admark, CVR. I'll say this for Wasy as well, because people have told me, and because of how I've, you know, collaborated with him over the last few years. He's the next one who has people in mind first. Although people will say, yeah, but look at the price, you have to know why some of these things are that. And also you got to figure out that we're in 2025. If you want to be in sound system these days, it ain't cheap at all. So sometimes you do have to bite the bullet and say, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that because it's worth doing that. You know, you can wait to hear from different people, but for me, I go and study, I go and look, I go and find out, and then if I decide, you know what, yeah, let me deal with it, I'm dealing with it. And if I'm honest, if I'm truly honest, I'm not one of those who have a 16 bass box, 12 bass box sound system. Yeah, is me one. Yeah, so I don't have them things. I did not need to go and get this Wasy amp. I did not need to. Yeah, I decided to, just for the simple reason that it caught my eye when he started doing his thing a few years back. Also because I've been supporting him and just, you know, spreading the vibe and everything. I've been watching Wasy, and also because it interested me. Yeah, and I wanted to, because I do these videos and everything, I wanted to bring it over so I could do a live thing, and instead of, you know, like good on the sound systems who put up the live videos and you listen, you know, you get a 1 minute listen or a 2 minute listen of an amplifier and a stack rare tear. Big up all the sound systems that do that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm a small sound, so I mean, you know, I'm not doing what they're doing, but I'm gonna say this, yeah, I'm a person, I'll put up things to talk about, to learn about, not just to listen at. You know what I mean? And there's lots of people out there who've got so much knowledge, more knowledge than me. Loads of people, yeah. But not all of them want to do it, and you know, that's their prerogative. Me, I'm a man, I like to help the sound community. So I'll get extra bits, I'll go and get extra pieces, I'll do what I can to help man, and then put them on board to something that they might find can work for them. You know what I mean? And some people listen to what I have to say, for true. You know, I'm not a man, I don't come on there on the internet and chat rubbish about equipment and this and that. I go by what I'm hearing, by what I'm seeing, by what I'm using, you know, temperature, this and that. I try to make sure that what I'm dealing with is correct, and then I can let everybody know, you know. you're not going to catch me putting things on a scope, or, you know, watching digits going up and down about this and that. No, that's not how I run things. I run things by ear, and I also run things by signal, so that, you know, I can try and get things correct. And that's why I want to do some more videos about stringing up as well, because I was chatting to somebody at dance who was saying to me, you know what, how come people don't want to, you know, talk about how they string up and everything? And I said, it's been a thing for years and years, yeah. You know, certain men keep certain things secret. Nothing wrong with that. That's, again, your prerogative. But I want to talk about stereo, mono, you know, dual mono. Where are you splitting your signal to? What is running into what, and how much are you actually sending, and how many hot signals are you, you know, branching out? All these kind of things, yeah. Send and return, depending on what mixer you're using, yeah, and how you can use that in effect. Different auxiliary channels, this and that. There's all kind of things. There's a whole heap of things, yeah, depending on what you've got, how you can reroute and make a sound just that little bit sweeter, you know, whole heap of things. Yeah, and I'm down the road, I'm going to be chatting about all these things, because I'm a man. I'm not afraid to help people, so I'm not going to keep those secret, you know. I know what works good for my sound and how I can string it up in different ways and what will work good. So for me to pass that on to help a man to see if it will help him, his sound, ain't no big thing. Ain't no big thing. Anyway, as I said, it was tonight all about this little toy right here, the Wasy amp, as you can see right here. Wicked piece, 800, 700, was it 750 or 700 at 8, 1200 at 4, 1800 at 2 ohms. Yeah, very pretty amp, light amp, paper weight, nice handles, well built, very strong. I'm looking forward to taking that one out on Sunday and having a little play with that. Right, okay, well, I'd like to say thank you very much for your listening ears and your watching eyes. And look out for another couple, because I'm going to be having a next video. I know a few man who wants to chat about the inners, basically. We want to go to the insides and talk about certain things. Right, yeah, but look out for that. And big up Cutty, I'll be linking up with you so that we can, you know, run things through this. Big up cousin Ren as well. We'll be doing, you know, a few ones and twos together on this amp, and we'll try a thing and see how it goes over here in the UK. So big up Wasy, like it very much, yeah. Big up yourself each and every time. And big up Fred Tate over at the USA, Mr. Mega Force. Big up yourself each and every time. Big up Sean J. Venom. I have to big him up as well. We can't forget Venom Y2K, you know what I mean? Right, large up all the sounds over here, all the DJs, all the people watching. Thank you for your listening ears and watching eyes this Saturday. Hopefully, if my leg holds up, I'm going to reggae land. I'm going to shake 2 foot, so it should be nice, yeah? Right, for now, later will be greater.